emotionally, but logic-wise, I mean, it's insane, and it was like, damn, that's kind of fucked up and weird. But the movie just really unabashedly, like, no, this is cute. Like, why would it ever cross your mind that could be inappropriate in some way? Like,
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast. It's your favorite host, the most Sam the Bomb. And of course with me every week is Danny.
Hello.
Nick.
Are you happy, Sam?
And a special guest with us this week for this review, Kamikaze Dan from Otaku Host Club Podcast once again.
Hello, I'm here to advocate on behalf of the absolute masterpiece, Sing a Bit of Harmony, because people will not recognize that this is top 3 anime movies of our lifetime.
Top 3 anime movies. Dude,
I love the bold claims. I love it.
Dude, I love it, dude. I love it. Because
that's why I'm here. I'm on tour. Anytime this movie comes up in conversation, I got a Kool-Aid man straight through the wall to say, hey, you're right. That really is a great movie. Let me tell you why.
And here's why, okay, dude. It's so fucking funny. Because Dan and Amelia from the Otaku Host Club Podcast, okay, bless them. They're fucking amazing. They came on for our Fist of Furry Smackdown, okay, and which was super fun, by the way. And before we got started on the topic, that was our time to choose a patron rec from the patron nomination form. So this is a patron rec review, by the way. To choose a thing to review from that form, and Danny spun the little wheel, and it landed on Sing a Bit of Harmony. And, Amelia and Dan happened to be there because it was SmackDown, right? And Dan just lost his shit when it landed on there. And he was like, bro, that's the greatest movie of all time. I'm like, whoa, I'm hyped for this movie, too. Now you're hyping it up even more. So let's fucking go. And so we kind of set it on the episode. We're like, dude, Dan should come on for that episode. He's fucking hyped for it. So here he is, Kamikaze Dan from...
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Otaku Host Club Podcast. I'm excited to hear what you love so much about it, because it was funny, because when you freaked out in the best way, obviously, Amelia was like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah, Amelia freaked out on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. She was like, no, this is just some random ass obscure movie that doesn't matter and it's not that great, and shut this man up. But I'm telling you, yeah, it is obscure, and it's like the definition of a underrated movie, because this is like, it is so far beyond the kinds of anime that we are normally watching. It is playing 5-dimensional chess with the human brain. It is amazing.
And I'm anxious, or not anxious, but eager to hear, because maybe you saw something that I'm not seeing, and maybe you related to it in a way that we can't, So without further ado,
Dan's an AI.
It's an AI. Dan's an AI.
This is all just setting the stage, First it's Sing a Bit of Harmony to really broach the idea. Then we start revealing ourselves once everybody is more comfortable with the concept.
Yeah, dude. So let's just jump right in. Links.animesummit.net, okay? And then also I'm gonna tell you about this. And then oh, by the way, you fucking bitches, we're doing another show swappy. And we like to announce these ahead of time just so you guys can watch along with us when it comes time to do the review. It's Nick and Danny's turn to swap, and they're swapping Chobits and Serial Experiments Lane.
Wait,
was it Lane? I thought it was something else.
No, I'm pretty sure it's that.
No. I gave you a 2000s anime.
Lane is
Remember,
2000s,
we're doing
I
that.
thought.
No, it's not.
Oh.
it's like 90 something. Okay, we're going to have to figure this out.
Okay, never mind. I take that back.
I could have sworn it was.
No, I probably said I said you should watch it, or we should watch it, but I didn't say that
never
was my
mind.
swap. I did say we should watch
Go
it.
back
though.
to the archives and hear it.
I think Nick is right. I think we need to go back. Everyone planning on mistake on the podcast. Rewind.
Although we are still
Ergo
doing
proxy,
Chobits,
Ergo
though.
proxy.
Like Chobits, it's still a thing.
Yeah,
It's the other
Chobits is
thing.
still one of them, but I think Nick's trade to Danny was something else. So yeah, that's gonna be on last week of October, first week of November. Okay, so that episode that comes out November 3rd. Okay, so you have until then to watch at least Chobits for now. We'll make sure we announce next week what Nick's trade was. And
Shame it's not Serial Experiments Lane.
yeah, I think
Missing out.
we're gonna watch it anyway.
Wasn't it
Nope.
Haibane Renmei?
Oh, now we're talking.
It might have been. Well, we
Haibane
half
Renmei
reviewed that one
was
earlier.
2002.
Yeah, we half reviewed that one earlier. I did say you should watch it. I'll have to go back to the archives, like you said.
Yeah, let's go back and make
The
sure.
thing is,
because
we
reviewed
did
that
do
already.
we did do a review of that a long time ago, but that was kind of like we'll have to go see what we did. But anyway, yeah. But you should watch that
anyways,
anyway, Danny.
You
Come
should.
on.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably did say that. You're probably right.
And so here's the thing. Also, little setback with the Shopify. I kind of explained this on the radio hour last week. If you like the radio hour, let me know, by the way. I ordered samples and they were poopy. They were cockadookie. So like I found a new printer through Printify and ordered new samples, and that's coming this week. And we're gonna have Honey Bear try it on. I think I ordered a size too small. I ordered a 5X and she needs like a 17X. But it'll be fine. We'll just have her try it on and we'll see what happens.
Every year she adds a pineapple.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the issue, right? So, one more thing before we go into the question of the week. Kamikaze Dan, tell us where we can find Otaku Host Club podcast goodies.
On the internet?
Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
Just shout outside.
I'm not really good at plugging
Cup
our
your
own
hands and
stuff.
shout.
Yeah, I mean, if you the truth is, I got to pay my respects to Jeff and Amelia and Christella because the three of them really do all the heavy lifting for our podcast. I just show up and start talking, and I pay some of the bills, but it's really the three of them that do all the hard work and have all the answers. And bless them for their commitment to our podcast. Yeah, I feel fortunate that my podcast mates are give me so much leeway because I'm so busy with all my punk stuff and my record label and my distro and blah blah blah, and that really eats up a lot of my life.
Sure.
So I'm thankful that they have it in them, the space in their life and the motivation to see our podcast through. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be happening without the three of them. So where do we find us? We have a website. If you Google search Otaku Host Club, our website will pop up, and that is up to date with all of our episodes and guest appearances on other podcasts, and I think that's the best place to find us.
Nice. And I'll also include a link in the description as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely. And then, you can find a great podcast that comes out bi-weekly. And, I love those guys, man. Amelia's super fun. Me and Danny had fun with Amelia on our Girl Talk and just bitching it up and talking shit with Courtney.
From
and
Strictly series.
From Courtney with the Strictly series. Mm-hmm. And, dude, it was fun. So, hope to do that again. And me and Amelia were horny on Maine most of the time, but it's fine. It was great. It was great. Okay. Nice one. Good answer. All right. Question of the week, Nick.
Question of the week. This is from King. Everybody take a shot. It's King. Preferably a shot of Burby.
Nice.
But don't do as many burpees as I did, because I threw up.
Yeah.
I had a tummy ache for a whole day.
Cautionary tale.
Okay. Question of the week is from King, and he asked, who is the best butler in anime?
Yeah, I'll take, that's Walter C. Dornez for 500.
Damn it, I was gonna do him.
You could pick the same one.
Oh, Danny, don't worry. I'm doing him too, if you know what I mean. Like,
oh, shit. That's from Hellsing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Googled best butlers, so I have a list of everybody here. So
Nah, but Danny knows. Danny fucking knows.
Yeah,
I need to rewatch
I
Hellsing.
was
It's
gonna
been a minute.
do Walter.
Yeah, that motherfucker will kill you. He will kill you with literally. You could tie that man completely down into a chair. He'll find a way to fucking murk you.
Here, I got one.
Okay, nice. Okay,
I got
what
one
do
for
got?
you, Danny. Mosquito from Soul Eater.
Yeah, Mosquito.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm okay.
I'm picking that guy because he's funny looking.
Okay, what about you, Danny?
He stabs you
I
with his
don't-
nose.
I don't even remember Mosquito from Soul Eater.
I think he was like a minor villain or
was,
something.
He was like a minor villain. He was the butler for the spider lady.
Oh, I can
forget.
picture
Yeah,
the spider
Arachne.
lady. in
Forget
my
her
mind.
name. I
Yeah.
What
forget her
would you
name.
guess her name is? It's Arachne.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
What would you guess her organization name is? Arachnophobia. Very
Oh,
creative.
That's
by them.
cool.
Danny, what was your butler answer?
Well, at first I thought
You do, Walter.
Nick was gonna do Sebastian from
Oh,
Black
yeah.
Butler.
No. I haven't seen that one, so somebody should pick it.
Okay.
You don't have to. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, I've seen it, so I will pick him. But also, I am going to say Goto from Hunter x Hunter, the Zoldix.
Dude,
Butler?
go tell man.
So the kid or the guy?
yeah.
No, the kid is Canary. I'm talking about
Yeah.
Goto, the guy with the
Oh,
coins.
okay.
yeah,
So
flicking coins.
We got to say Sebastian though. He's always.
Oh, yeah.
I looked up
Well,
a list
I mean,
of best butlers,
he's
and he was number one on
literally
every list.
the most iconic butler out there. And there's also going to be a reboot of Black Butler as well.
Nice.
Sam, why didn't you say Norman from Big O?
Oh, I fucked up.
Dibs.
Damn it!
GG. I haven't even seen Big O. I'm picking it though, just to make you mad.
You've never seen Big O?
I've seen parts.
Nick, what are
Probably
you
bits and
like? Some
pieces
kind
of Big O from like Toonami days.
Nick? Are you some kind of bitch or something? Like,
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
yeah.
I watched the Big O in college, but it kind of went in one ear and out the other for me. I barely remember it. I'm assuming there must be a butler because it's basically an analog to Batman, and Batman
Yeah.
has a butler, so I'm sure the Big O guy has a butler too. But
Fucked a
I
lot
don't
of
remember anything about it.
y'all are some trifling ass bitches. The Big O is a masterpiece. Shut up.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
that's saying a lot.
if it's so good,
but
why haven't we
okay.
reviewed it yet, huh? Okay.
Because every dude.
We're busy
okay,
reviewing crappy Rugrats spin-offs instead. I mean,
I'm gonna slap you. No, okay, because I don't try and show for big robot stuff with y'all anymore because y'all just be like, oh, Sam and her big robots. She gets horny every time a cockpit opens. Get it? Which, like, yeah, I do, but that's none of your business. So
I mean,
shut up.
Sam, I think me and Dan would rather watch mecha anime than another Alexander the Great or wherever the fuck we had to watch last
Dude,
time.
y'all.
I mean,
y'all were-
if I had to choose, I would much rather watch the Big O than any
Yeah.
than watching Reign the Conqueror.
You
again.
guys are
Not
so
gonna
lame.
lie.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Like I couldn't.
Sam, when I think of you getting horny over the cockpit, I'm thinking about Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans and how there's a guy in Iron-Blooded Orphans that can only have sex if he is connected to the cockpit of his giant robot,
God.
and he
Oh,
impregnates women while he is like he impregnates women while he is connected to his Gundam.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's like the ultimate whiskey dick right there, or like opposite
Yeah.
of that or something.
The ultimate
Yeah.
whiskey dick. Dan, what was your butler answer? Sorry.
He names his
So,
names his Gundam Cialis.
So my butler answer is a little bit of a twist. I'm going to argue for gender equality here that butlers and maids are basically the same thing. And my choice is Roberta, the Bloodhound
Ooh.
from Black Lagoon,
Interesting.
who is such a fascinating character. I love her story arc in Black Lagoon and the scene where she's being held down by the Russians and the boss Russian lady is kind of informing everyone of Roberta's backstory, much to a lot of shame of Roberta. The voice acting of Roberta in that scene has just always stuck with me through the years. It's just really emotional stuff. Yeah, really great.
Nice.
You watched it dubbed, right? Just checking.
No, but I understand the dub is
Oh,
out of control.
It's good.
Nice.
It's better. It's better than the sub. Trust me.
Oh, really? It's better. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
That's
when
one.
you say
That's
it
one
like
of
that,
those.
I'll bust out my DVDs and watch the dub.
That's one of those anime like Cowboy Bebop where like no matter how good the sub is, the dub's better.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure
can
the sub's
believe it
good.
'cause
I believe you.
yeah, but the Black Lagoon is in that sweet spot where anime dubs were amazing. Like it's in the right time zone or time frame for it. So I believe it. I'm gonna go back and watch that shit. I'll watch it dubbed.
Nice.
All right, good question, King.
Nice one.
What do we got here?
Waifu and husbando, Danny.
Waifu is Satomi Amano, and husbando is Toma.
Basically, the two leads.
The two
leads. Other than Shion, I guess, but like, it would have been also funny to put the
Shion and the judo guy.
Shion and I was gonna say Shion and
Koichiro or whatever.
Yeah, Koichiro.
The hot guy doesn't get any love.
Oh, Goto.
Gochan.
He
Yeah.
didn't even look that hot. He
him.
looked like a regular dude. He looked the same as anybody else.
Hell yeah, but
It's anime. They all
about
look the same. They all look the same.
smoothness.
He had pickled eyebrows, though.
Oh,
His
you know what?
eyebrows were pretty thick.
You know what? You're right.
You're right.
But it's about his chill and it's about his motorcycle
And his demeanor.
The
Oh,
other
yeah.
characters
Yeah.
don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This was recommended us from patron Hunter Tane. Shout out Hunter Tane. If you're not watching entertainment, then you're not watching Huntertainment. That's my slogan for you, Hunter Tane. Yeah, dude, sing a bit of harmony. Otherwise, Utogoe wo kikasete. Yeah, dude. Whoops, I meant to put title here. I put Pompo from our last review. Title, yeah, sing a bit of harmony. This studio, JC Staff, the director is also the original creator and also the lead storyboarder and wrote the screenplay, which is Yasuhiro Yoshiura. Okay, the reason why this is cool to me also is because like they've worked on other films here and there. A lot of the stuff they were doing before this was a lot of stuff for the Young Animator Training Projects, Japan Animator Expo, things like that. Their last time they did like a feature film, I believe, was Patima Inverted.
That one was good. I actually own that.
I've never seen it, by the way.
It's
I
pretty
really want
good.
to.
It's pretty good.
And they've done some other things as well, but like
they also did one of the original ONAs before ONA and streaming was really a thing.
Oh, is it Pale Cocoon or
Time
Cocoon?
of Eve?
Oh, Time of Eve.
Time of
that's
Eve,
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
2008. Yep.
And then they did the film later, yeah.
Oh, Pale Cocoon was an OVA. I've seen that one.
But they're also like a designer and artist as well. So they've worked on Evangelion and things like that. So it was really cool to see them come back, doing a feature film that they created originally and things like that. So, also animation director and character designer Hidekazu Shimamura, based on original character designs by Ki Kana or Kana Ki. Music by Ryo Takahashi. And you can watch this on the Crunchies. Okay.
That's Crunchyroll.
The Crunchyroll.
The rolls.
You
of-
can
buy it on
really?
Amazon.
Is it
You
up
can buy it on
Crunchyroll
Amazon.
now?
Yep.
Yeah, it is now.
It
Yeah, I
is.
checked.
That's where I watched it. Yeah.
I watched this shit on gogoanime.in today.
You gotta see someone drop their popcorn in the movie theater while they were shakily
shit.
recording it. Yeah.
Also, art director Yuji Kaneko. I forgot to put that on there. But they're mainly a lot of the jobs they've done before were background art. But they've been art director in a ton of things. Recently, they were the art director in Spriggan, the ONA on Netflix. They were the art director on Trigun Stampede. They did background art for Weathering with You. Just all kinds of great projects and a bunch of films as well. They've also done background art and art directing for Kill la Kill. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of hits.
Let's start. Yeah, a lot of hits. A lot of big resumes on here. which is like that's what's up in my opinion. So, just a quick synopsis breakdown. This is from Mal. Satomi Amano is a model student as well as the daughter of the leading project manager of Hoshima, a company that has revolutionized AI technology. However, due to her standing, Satomi's presence has isolated her from her classmates, an obstacle she knows that she may never overcome. On an otherwise uneventful day while preparing for school, she uncovers her mother's latest exciting proposition, an AI that will prove whether robots can live alongside humans. Intrigued by how her mother will commence the project, Satomi makes her way to school, but standing in front of the classroom is none other than the AI herself, Shion. And the goal of the experiment is to make sure no one finds out that that's what she's there for, or that she's a robot or an AI robot, right? And if it goes successful, then obviously that's a good thing, right? Unfortunately, Satomi and some of her classmates find out, and then so then she asks them to keep it a secret, and that's kind of like the rest of the movie is them trying to go to school with Shion and make sure she's not causing a ruckus and all that good stuff. Obviously, I'm leaving out some details there, but we will talk more about that in the spoiler section. Nick and Danny, I'm gonna hit Dan in a little bit, right? Because Dan, obviously, I want to get his original reaction when he first saw the movie. But Nick and Danny, since it was the first time for the three of us, what are your first thoughts, initial thoughts?
Nick, go first.
Oh God. I like American musicals, actually. I'm kind of a big fan of those. So I was a little bit interested to watch an anime musical, well, pseudo musical. This is a little bit like Belle. I saw a YouTube video of somebody comparing the two movies because they came out somewhat similar times ish.
Sure.
And they
Belle
both have
came
a lot
out in the summer of 2021, and Sing came out in the fall.
Fall, yeah.
It's the old Your Name versus Koi no Katachi Silent Voice.
Yeah.
You gotta compare them every time now. Okay, but yeah, I'm interested. I did like the TV show. What was that one? Healer Girl, I think. I liked the first couple episodes of that. That was kind of crazy. So I thought I would enjoy this.
I love Healer Girl. Yeah.
But unfortunately, like as you can tell, I'm still a little bit sick, so it's hard for me to like enjoy things as much while I'm sick. Do you guys ever get that where like when you're sick, you feel like depressed?
Yeah, dude. Sometimes
but not in like the good way, you know what I mean? Like
when I'm sick, or which is very rare that I get sick, I don't want to watch something new. I just, you know what I mean? Because then I feel like I can't.
Yeah,
enjoy
so
it's
a little unfair. And I watched it. Actually earlier today, so it's somewhat fresh in my mind.
Sure.
Half sub, half dub. Yeah. Just to get a feel of it. But I had medium expectations because it's not going to be the best thing ever for me personally, but I'm interested. So
sure.
What's your favorite American musical?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too, Nick. I didn't know that you were big on musicals.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch a bunch. I like the sound of not the sound of music. The Music Man, because The Simpsons did a spoof on it with the monorail.
Of course,
that's really funny to me. So.
Only for the memes. That's
for the memes. Yep.
For the memes.
I'm not an expert on it by any stretch. I've only seen a few of them, so don't at me. I'm not a guru and a guru.
Sure.
So yeah.
See, it's funny because
you know what? Underrated one, actually. Underrated. 1776.
Well, okay, so that is exactly what was going to come out of my mouth, and I'll tell you my background was 1776. This is really weird. When I was growing up, my parents are both like kind of academics, and they were very like trying to get me cultured in the fine arts, and we would go to art museums and operas and classical music performances and shit. And one thing that we did every single 4th of July until I graduated high school and went to college was watch 1776.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
I've seen it every year from like as far back as I can remember in my childhood until I finally freed myself from this tradition by going to college and leaving my parents' house. So I remember a lot of those songs, even though I have no particular affinity for 1776. But
You're
when I think
obnoxious
of-
and disliked.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
hates John Adams. It's just really funny.
See, it's funny.
Kins,
It's funny because
Jonathan,
I'm the opposite. I'm
Kins.
not a big fan of Western musicals, but there's a few that I do like, and I like them very much. And one of them is Sweeney Todd, obviously.
See, I
And-
gotta watch that.
Sure.
Now,
yeah,
you know.
and Phantom of the Opera, which a lot of people will.
Oh yeah, everybody likes that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
that's good.
Anyways, sorry, I interrupted.
It has William Daniels, Mr. Feeney.
Mr.
He's in that one, Tom.
Danny, what was your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts for this movie, this kind of went under the rug for me. I didn't know about it until it was on like our rec sheet for the
Sure.
patrons and everything. So I really didn't know what I was expecting out of it. So I kind of went in blind. I didn't really like read anything beforehand, watch any trailers or anything like that. So, and you know, as I watched it Tuesday. So, and I didn't know that it was a musical. So it's just like, oh, okay. This is a musical, another musical. This is pretty awesome. So it definitely gave me, you know, Belle vibes and stuff. So, but I really liked it. It reminded me of that, what is that Robin Williams movie with the robot?
Bicentennial Man.
We'll figure it out. Keep
I
talking.
think so.
Keep talking.
I think so.
If it's not a musical, we don't know it.
Bicentennial Man, yeah, no, Sam was right. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, like how, you know, the AI like Xion created feelings and everything like that. So yeah, I find movies that revolve around AI, that the AI creates feelings and stuff instead of like the whole like apocalyptic like you know, iRobot, or you know, the robots like start killing people and stuff. I like more of the kind-hearted robot stories. So yeah, so I really enjoyed the visual effects of everything, and yeah, it gave me goosebumps, and like I teared up a bunch of times. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a few times where I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, like I was literally like about to like bawl my eyes out. I was just like, oh my god. No.
I didn't until, well, I'll say it later. But anyways, like I did full on cry a little bit. I wouldn't say bawl,
Yeah.
but like I
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was very this one's very emotionally provoking, you know, in that very Japanese storyteller way. You know what I mean? They just kind of they threw in that thing in there, was kind of like, oh shit. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so Dan, what were your first thoughts when you saw it? And actually, can you just remind us really quick where you first saw it? Because you saw it in theaters, didn't you?
I saw it in theaters. So this movie was also not on my radar whatsoever, but I happened to be watching Michigo and Hachin on the Funimation app, and at that time they had commercials. Over all the commercials were about Sing a Bit of Harmony in theaters in this summer evening, blah blah blah, and I saw enough commercials. Eventually, I was like, well, the trailer looks pretty fun, and I also kind of like musicals, and the character designs are kind of attractive to me. So, yeah, you know, I ain't got nothing going on that night. I'll go ahead and roll over and catch this in theaters. I'm an anime guy. I should support anime movies in theaters. You know, show up, buy a ticket, vote with my dollar. So I went to go see this movie. I didn't even know that it was the director of Time of Eve, who I'm already a fan of because I like Time of Eve quite a bit.
Nice.
And yeah, my first thought was that this movie it absolutely floored me on two levels. One, the emotional level, and I'm pretty easy to floor on the emotional level. I get sucked into movies pretty well. So I was bawling my fucking eyes out in this
Yeah.
theater for sure. But number two, I was blown away by how this movie is so deeply like disturbing and unhinged from reality. I mean, it's just a straight up propaganda piece, and just the resolve of this guy's worldview. It just blew me away. I was like, I really hope I can meet this guy sometime so I can figure out for myself if he's like just completely insane
Just
or
pick his brain.
yeah. I just want to understand better, like, what is this movie like really? Because this feels like his masterpiece to me, and it feels like this is his grand statement to the world. His worldview and life philosophy, and I'm like, is that true, or did you mean this to be a weird propaganda piece, or like? It's crazy. It's crazy. So after I saw it in theaters, I texted everybody I know that's into anime. I'm like, yo, you got to go see this movie. I took my friend Finn, like to the next showing, like a day or two later. Finn was like, it was all right. I don't really like musicals that much. I was like, Finn, you're
There
fucking
are
killing
those
me,
people. There are those people.
man. Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say,
Well,
for like road trips, like a lot of people ask me like, oh, so what do you listen to while you're on like long drives, or like when you're traveling by car and stuff. And I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts or like Audible books or anything like that because
You're killing me,
put,
Danny.
they put me to sleep. I'm sorry, they
Sure,
put me to sleep.
sure.
Like I get, if I'm listening to like a podcast, I much rather it be on my commute to work versus like a 12-hour drive or anything like that. So what I listen to musicals. Like that's
Interesting.
literally all I listen to because it keeps my brain focused versus like me listening to regular music and like me getting tired of it, whereas with musicals I don't get tired of them. I don't know why. So
Yeah, because they're so fun. They got that.
they are
poppin',
fun. They make you
positive
feel
energy.
good.
Yeah. No, I haven't met anybody that likes this movie as much as I do, but or kind of sees it the way that I see it. But yeah, I'm always looking to convert. I'm out here preaching the good word. I want people to believe.
Sure. Okay. I think we should dive more into that when we get into the spoiler section. And of course, I'll let you guys know when we're getting to the spoiler section. But really quick, I do want to talk about, because it's a movie, yeah. Just to talk about some of the background info and things that we liked about that and maybe didn't. For a movie, and I understand this is Yoshira's, first full-length feature in a while, and original work, as a full-length feature in a while. So maybe, where maybe necessarily, I know some of the people that he worked with on this, like the art director and some other people, were ones he worked with previously as well. But, I thought it would, seeing some of the movies we've seen recently, not necessarily on this podcast, but just people in general, anime fans in general. It looked really good, but it didn't look as good as maybe some other films that we've seen recently. In terms of just like, character acting and some of the in-betweens and things like that. But like, in terms of cinematography and the art direction, man, that shot with the solar panels and the
Oh yeah, she
fireworks
turns
on
into the magical girl.
Yeah. That was. I just love the way
the
that
princess.
looked. They did that really well. It was kind of, the sky is reflecting, and that was super cool. Without spoiling, I really like that part. I do like how you kind of knew where everything was. From Satomi's house to the school, they made these places familiar to you. So when you saw them again, you're like, okay, now we're here. Oh, okay, now we're going back here. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that kind of thing. Maybe not on the level of like Spirited Away level, where you can kind of pretty much track the whole entire castle and or bathhouse, which is super fucking cool. But like, you kind of knew it made things familiar to you because obviously there wasn't that many settings. There was, there was Hoshima, there was Satomi's house, the places where she walks to get to the bus, and then the school. But you can still tell a really good story with just those minimal spaces, and they were able to do that, and it was perfect because you don't need it. You don't need to have so many different settings and places just to tell a good story. And this was a perfect example of that because it made things familiar, which I like. And also, excuse me, my Nick is getting me sick, you guys. But like, coughing.
Open your mouth.
Very chainsaw.
The puke
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Fucking just start like pooping and puking
Just
everywhere.
vomiting everywhere.
Yeah. But Kaneki doing the original character design is
Gosh,
super cool.
I love the character design, and I'm so happy that Kaneki did the character design. Quite frankly, like
Yeah, and I love her work. And but just speaking of which, like movies that I thought looked better than this one, Stranger by the Sea, which me and Danny reviewed a bit ago. That obviously a different studio, different staff, and whatever. That one looked better than this one did in terms of like just animation quality and the key animations and stuff like that. But that being said, I think it still looked decent. It was fine. But for being a pseudo musical as well, the songs are really catchy and the sound design was pretty good as well. All of the sound effects that they use for like the apps and AI things, like the little dings and
yeah,
I loved those sounds. Like I don't know why, it was like really satisfying to hear them. Whenever they did like whenever they had to use the shutdown app, whenever Shion's CPU exploded from her belly, I
like literally punched Toma in the gut.
yeah. The hard drive, her hard drive, it that was a really satisfying sound. I don't know why. It kind of reminds me of like, when you're ejecting a cassette tape or a VHS. It's kind of what it reminded me of. So maybe that's because I grew up in those times, right? It's satisfying to me. But what did you guys think of the production? I kind of said mostly what I wanted to say anyway. But I mean, just in case I'm missing anything, what did you guys think?
I think it was aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Like I don't think
A lot of bright colors too.
yeah, I
which is
don't
nice.
really think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, quite frankly, I would probably have to watch it a second time to really honestly nitpick on a few
Sure.
things. I mean, I did watch it in the dub. So I guess
Cool.
I would say the one thing that I probably would nitpick would have to be the singing parts and like the lip flaps kind of did not match like whenever Shion was singing and
Sure.
and so I will also clarify all of the voice actors from the English dub also sang. So
Sure.
what's her name? Let me go to the characters for a minute.
Because while you're looking,
so-
Danny, really quick, they
I already
were
found it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry. Megan Shipman, she voiced Shion, and pretty much Shion was the main singer of it.
Yeah.
First of all, Megan Shipman, phenomenal singing voice. Like, I have never heard a voice actor just like is able to sing like that.
Oh, she's
in
Anya's voice.
English, because in Japanese a lot of them are also good at singing. I think.
Right,
yeah.
yeah, but you don't really hear a lot of like English voice actors singing.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of the time it's like they'll give it to a different yeah.
Right, they'll give it to a different person, or they'll leave the Japanese singing in with the English.
That's always the
Yeah.
weirdest
So-
to me. That's the weirdest.
Yeah.
It's
They're
fine.
speaking
I mean, it doesn't.
English
it
and they
doesn't.
speak in Japanese or sing in Japanese. That's kind of
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me when they do that. Quite frankly, I don't really care. But with this, I'm kind of curious on, a lot of the decisions that they had to make to be able to do that and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will say, like, I think my one nitpick would probably have to be is the lip flaps did not quite match a whole lot with the English singing. So it was a little wonky at first when Shion broke out into song, like with her first number, when she was, talking about like if Satomi was like happy and everything, and they were just like literally walking through the school and like literally bursting into song and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it was a little weird, but then like some of the other songs were okay. Like I feel like it was just that one song number in the very beginning was just a little wonky to me. And I think it was because there was just a lot of close-ups of Shion's face that
Right.
the singing did not match with the lip flaps. So
Right. So something I wanted to point out that now that you bring it up is it's common. That's one of the key traits of anime in general is when you're seeing a character talk or even sing, I guess, in some anime. It's just an open and closed frame, right? Their mouth is open one frame, their mouth is closed the next frame. There's not like any movement of their lips and mouth how we would normally when we're enunciating or pronouncing things.
right, yeah.
So in this case, in a lot of other anime films that has a girl singing in it, they are animating their mouths, which I thought they did this really well, by the way. They're animating their mouths pronouncing the words. In this case, obviously the original language is Japanese, so like, it's not gonna
Right.
match. It's
Yeah,
never going to.
yeah, and I knew that, like, and I like you can obviously tell, and like it's quite noticeable in that first number for sure that like, okay, yeah, like the lyrics for the English song is definitely different from the Japanese lyrics, because obviously they can't, and I know this because I've like watched so many videos on, English translation with Japanese, and a lot of singers typically will try and translate as much as they could, but they also have to keep up with the beat of the song, of the rhythm. So they will change some of the meaning of the lyrics a little bit just so that they can still keep up with the beat of the rhythm of the song. So, and that's exactly what happened with this. They were definitely paying attention to more of the rhythm versus the lyrics and what
you got to
the
localize it.
translation meant and everything.
You can't be
So-
too literal with it, or else it's going to sound stupid.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's what they did in Evangelion on Netflix. That they fucked it up.
Oh,
but
God,
anyway,
here he goes again with the
Well,
email.
we're not
I'm
gonna.
done.
We're not talking about Ava, okay? You did that already.
Oh my God, Nick, come on.
So, Danny, do you think this is an issue that? So I haven't seen the dub. I'm wondering if this is an issue resolved just by watching the sub rather than the dub.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I really don't think it. I mean, in my opinion, I still liked it either way. Like I mean,
Yeah,
my rating is pretty high regardless. So, I think it's. I mean, I as like I guess of a critic of anime, because I have a podcast and I do critiques and I do reviews. So like I think it's just more of a nitpick for me personally versus like if someone who is not like a critic or anything like that and they prefer like English dubs over subs. Like I think they really like I don't think anyone would not like it just because of that specific
Yeah,
thing.
sure. No, and maybe to call it an issue is to overestimate the critique.
Right.
in
And
the
I mean,
situation.
you know,
Because it's
like,
more. I'm thinking of this more like I didn't notice that at all when I watched it, but then I've only seen it subtitled, so I don't
right,
know if
right.
it's
Right.
because that's not an issue when I saw it, or because I just don't have the eyes for it, which could also be
Right.
true.
Right. And I mean, quite frankly, and I do want to point out, this movie was actually the last movie that Funimation dubbed. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, this was the last movie that they dubbed before they did the merge with Crunchyroll. So,
Sure.
and so Funimation did their absolute best. Like, I mean, you know, they had like great actors. I mean, Ian Sinclair is in this. So, Ian Sinclair
He's in
plays-
everything, Danny. He's in
Well,
everything.
I mean, he has a great voice,
I like
so-
him, but goddamn, dude, he's like Mama Miano.
I mean, Sinclair plays Goto, so and I thought he was pretty great for that role. And Risa May played Satomi, so and I thought her voice pretty fit like Satomi's personality and everything. So I think the entire cast for the English dub was pretty solid. Like they definitely picked really great people to play these characters. So, I mean, Megan Shipman, she voices Anya, and she really gave Shion a voice for English, the English version, and because, you know, Shion is so bubbly and, you know, she literally has no filter or care in the world because she's an AI. So she really brought Shion to life for English and everything. So I don't think there's like too much to nitpick aside from that just that one specific song. The rest of the songs were fine. Like I didn't really see any like missed like lip flaps or anything like that. So yeah. I think it's worth it. I think you should watch it.
Sure, yeah. Nick, what about any thoughts on production or how, you know, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. Honestly, I'm not too picky on these.
Sure.
It'd have to be pretty smegu for me to to complain.
Pretty smegu.
Yeah,
That's one of our Discord emojis. Yeah, looked good, sounded good. I will say that the actual songs themselves were not to my palette, but I did like the judo song. That was a fun
I
little
think-
scene.
Oh God,
I
so
think
good.
the Judo song
But-
was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the other ones were just not really my thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It was very like overly bubbly.
Sure.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, it's good that somebody really likes it. So so that's all I got for now.
I will say that the whole judo scene, you know, from the beginning to the end of, you know, that whole thing where he wins, you know, whatever. Which is not really a spoiler to the story, but you know, the one guy, he wins his match and practicing with Shion or whatever. That whole part is chef's kiss to me, from just the way it looked to the music to the song, just to the whole part of the story it plays. I love it. It's so good. So what about you, Dan? Obviously, I don't know how many films you've seen. I know you've seen quite a few by now, obviously.
Well,
but like,
yeah, you know, I'm over here in my life. I'm watching like Galaxy Express 999 and Fist of the North Star and Nishida no Joe. So I look at this movie and I'm like, damn, this shit looks fucking good. My goodness. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. God,
So
compared
I
to
don't
that.
think of myself as being a great critical eye of art style or animation or anything like that. But in general, yes, I did think this movie, I mean, it looks great to me. That was what sold me on it in the first place, was the aesthetically appealing and attractive character designs. It made me more interested to see it. And the sequence, when we think of the judo sequence, and I kind of feel like that is arguably the most popular scene because I've seen it make the rounds on the internet in a way.
You know, now that I think about it, the minute I saw Shion with the ponytail and stuff, I pretty sure I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I think I saw that
Came
too,
out.
actually.
So
Yeah.
I just didn't know where it was from. I thought it was
That's
like,
why I
that's
liked
pretty
it,
cool.
Danny. It's the meme
What?
of the movie.
Oh no.
Well, for me, what I actually liked the most was the first song that she does, and I thought that was the
That one
sequence-
startled me.
Well, yeah, but I love that bubbly ass song, and I listened to that song for weeks after I saw the movie. Just pulled it up on
Nice.
YouTube and was listening to it. And I like the whole sequence and how she's like dancing through the school and the way that her hands are like kind of at her hips in a certain Disney princess kind of way.
Literally, it's
flicking
like
a stack
yeah.
of papers in the air.
Yeah,
Like it's
she's
exactly
like
like a Disney musical.
she's
Yeah.
like kind of bopping up and down in a way,
Okay.
and all the other classmates are just confused and running around behind her.
It reminds me of Enchanted with
Sure.
like Giselle, and she's just literally so happy and so bubbly, and she's just she's surrounded by, you know, the old fart male protagonist, and he's just not all about musicals or anything like that. So yeah, like Shion definitely has that like happy-go-lucky Disney princess vibe.
Yes,
And that's literally what I got out of this.
well, yeah, and I think this movie is very Disney-esque in a way
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
anime movies are not always this way. And when people, I understand the surface level comparison to Belle,
Yes.
but it always like it's a little bit of a thorn in my brain because I'm like, yo, Belle was not good in my opinion. Like, the
Dude.
movie is not good.
Damn.
God, see,
That's wild. Wait, how did you?
I loved
Wait,
it.
hold on. I need to understand. How did you like this movie, but you didn't like Belle at all? Wouldn't these kind of fall in a similar category?
No, I don't think so at all. And I can answer this question, although I don't know if that's too spoilery for me to tell you. But we can come back to this when I'm free to say whatever the hell I want to say.
I was gonna say we can move into that section now because I think we got a pretty good idea of.
Okay,
All right,
well,
spoiler,
then
like, yeah.
spoilers for Belle in the next minute.
Yeah,
well,
we're entering spoilers now, and we're about to spoil some Belle, and then we're gonna spoil.
Well,
a
I
Single
would
Army, so everyone shut
I
up.
would spoil Belle and save you the time of watching it, but I don't remember the damn thing because it's boring as hell. And part
Oh
of the
my
reason
God,
it's so
you
boring
bitch.
is that there's no narrative focus. It feels like it feels like a fucking mess to me. Like there's too much going on, and it's not ever like nothing has a good primary focus. So I spent I remember the feeling when I saw Belle that I walked away from this like I don't understand what I was supposed to be getting out of all of this really. It seemed to have too many competing messages and competing ideas, none of which were really like that compelling to me because they were all kind of muddled and none of them had enough time to build on themselves and breathe. And it made me because Belle was not the first movie, but that guy's best movies are the ones that he co-wrote with that woman. And I know that it's not helpful to say that guy and that woman.
Mamoru Hosoda. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you look at like Wolf Children and one or two of his other good movies were all co-written with somebody else, but Belle was just that director alone. It made me feel
he's like Imaishi. You give him too much power and it goes down.
yeah, he needs his
He needs someone to rein him in.
He needs his collaborator to bring out his maximum power because he's
You're
not
talking
doing
about
so well on his own.
Okudera, or yeah. I forget
Yeah.
her name,
It's like
but
it's like George
There's
Lucas and his wife.
Satoko okay.
Okudera.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
Thanks. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am really not good with all the names of industry people and
No,
even
it's okay.
anime
Yeah,
characters.
I didn't remember it until Danny started saying it. I was like, okay, there it is, because I said
Yeah,
Oku something.
if
Yeah.
you if you ever listen to my podcast, Otaku Host Club, you will see that I got all sorts of random namings of every character for every anime we watch because the
Hey,
names just
that's
never
Nick.
stick with me. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick.
No,
Nick
I just
calls,
describe him. Red hair girl.
Yeah, Nick
Yeah,
calls
yeah,
Tracer from Overwatch the yellow girl. But well, he plays it
that.
now, so he says Tracer. But I mean, like before, he would say like,
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I don't play Tracer. It's too hard. Okay, not to
too
get
hard.
into Overwatch. But
Yeah, anyways.
Sure.
But yeah, sure, okay.
But that was kind of my primary critique of Belle, beyond the fact that I didn't think the music was all that interesting either, but the movie was too jumbled up. And Sing a Bit of Harmony, I thought, was the exact opposite. And I would say that is one of the 3 strokes of genius of this movie. And, part of why I think it's such a masterpiece is that this movie, it is so fucking efficient. And every single frame on that screen builds towards something else. You know, everything is foreshadowed. Like, I mean, the first scene, the first thing you get from the movie is the AI going through all the internet to find its way into Sion's body. But you don't know that. You figure that out afterwards. Like, and another good example of this is the server as a trash can. You know, they have multiple instances where random characters are throwing trash on top of this server because they confuse it for looking like the trash can sitting right next to it, and that becomes a huge plot point later on when they steal all the
equipment.
Yeah, corporate people come take all the equipment, but they don't take the server because they thought it was a trash can. You know, there's just all these little tiny things. The way that the computer club has no smoking written really huge on the whiteboard, which we come to find out that's because the football club used to smoke in there, and then the main character girl tattled on them. And so that's like the crux of her entire social dilemma at her high school.
Oh, that's why she's the outcast. Okay.
Yeah, and
to start out, she was.
There's so many of these little nuggets of building the world, building the narrative, building the characters strewn around this movie. So, and every time I watch it, I guess not literally every time, but I think it's a movie you can watch multiple times, and it becomes increasingly rewarding as you watch it and you pick up all these little things.
Okay.
Well, it does have a higher score than Belle on my anime list, so you're not wrong, Dan.
So, Dan, you mentioned earlier something about it being a propaganda piece. I kind of missed what you were saying. What about it? Like propaganda? What are they pushing?
They are pushing
AI is good.
They're pushing AI. I mean, what I think is so interesting about this movie, it's as much about what it doesn't say as it is what it says. You know, and it says all this beautiful emotional stuff, and that's great, and I love it. But what it doesn't say is any grounded and realistic view of AI. It is a complete propaganda piece. Like if you think of the scale of how people approach AI, on one end would be Terminator, and the idea that it is inevitable that, you know, computers will just decide by virtue of logic that human beings are its enemy and its own, you know, not only the enemy of AIs, but they are their own worst enemy. And so the logical thing to do is to get rid of them. And then the Terminator is waging war on the human race. On the exact opposite side of this scale is Sing a Bit of Harmony. And these people are like, there is literally no possibility whatsoever that AI would ever do anything bad to anyone. How could you not want your fridge to be your very best friend in the world?
Yeah.
You know, like the only people that have this opinion, there's only 2 times this opinion that there could be anything bad about AI. There's only 2 instances where this is even expressed in the movie at all. 3 instances. First, the kids talk about it amongst themselves after Xion gets abducted by the corporate people. They say, well, some people might be afraid that Xion just took control of every other AI in the vicinity at random and bent all these other AI to its will because they can all conspire together and communicate together and decide to do something completely arbitrary from their own cognition. Some people might think that's a little scary. And all the characters just totally ignore this. They're like, you know, but Xion's hot. We should date her, you know?
Yeah, Xion's my friend. I gotta save her.
That was their other mistake, too. That was their mistake. They should have made her very plain. Of course, you can't sell an anime movie like that, so they would never do that.
Yeah.
They got to make the character hot, but like in real life, they would make the AI like nondescript.
Yeah,
But,
well, and so that's another angle of the propaganda here, that the character literally wants to date an AI, and no one thinks that's weird. Everyone's like, "Oh, I hope their relationship really works out."
I don't think people think that's weird now.
Yeah,
Some guy in Japan married his
man.
Game Boy
It's
or
really,
something, right?
Like, think about in real life when people have intimate relationships with AI. The general assumption is that these people are emotionally stunted, and that they have something. There is a problem on their end that they cannot connect emotionally with another human being, so they have to connect to an AI. But in this movie,
but isn't that a good thing though? That's a good thing.
I think that's a really big question, which this movie clearly has an answer for. They would say, yeah, it's a really good thing. We should champion everyone to have their own AI partners,
Yeah.
The
we gotta lower the population
think about
somehow.
it, the real world, there are people who like get married to like objects.
Yeah.
There's that woman that got married to the Eiffel Tower, and like I think for literally, I think for like 15 years she was married to the Eiffel Tower, and then she like filed for divorce with the Eiffel Tower, and now she's like married to her fence of her house.
And
see those people should not be married to real people.
Well,
don't put that on somebody else.
That's why
don't put that on somebody else.
They're married to like inanimate objects.
Yeah, I say
stay
all
over
this
there.
not to necessarily judge these people, because in general I think people ought to do whatever it is they want to do. If this woman wants to marry the Eiffel Tower, she should just go forth and do it, because it's got nothing to do with me. But that doesn't change the stereotype that when you marry the Eiffel Tower, the assumption from most members of the human race are going to be there's something emotionally wrong with you.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not that's objectively true or not.
Right.
And so in this movie, you kind of like that they didn't make a big deal out of that. They kind of
I
told a story that was on the other side of the argument.
It's more like, it's not necessarily that I liked it. Well, I guess when we say that I like it, that makes it sound like I agree with that, which I don't. But I like that the director is just so like, his vision is so crystal clear, and his worldview is so like, he really believes this shit. And that's what I get from this movie, is like, this man really, he walks the walk. Like, he has a message that he is trying to sell you on. And it is that AI is a good thing, and there is no meaningful downside to this whatsoever. And you should just get on the train, because your life is going to be better. I do not agree with this. But
the train with no human pilot, and the bus with no human driver.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with this, but I'm very into like radical people.
It will happen.
And people's like crazy radical opinions and worldviews. So I respect it, and that's my angle of liking it. But I want to go back to what I was saying of the kind of three instances they have negative attitudes towards AI in this. The second instance is the primary antagonist. And it is very much framed as like, look at this evil old man that hates the main character's mom, and he's just some weird corporate stooge. And of course, he doesn't like AI all that much because he's the bad guy. And only bad guys don't appreciate the true love and care of AIs. And the third time that's expressed is out of the main character's mom that develops the AI, and she gets fucking converted. The kids all advocate that, she's sitting there like, oh, it would be crazy if all AIs were like completely cognizant and had a sense of self, and they all just talk to each other and had like a whole community of AIs. Like, that'd be really wild. And then all the kids are like, it'd be fucking awesome. Every one of those AIs would absolutely love us. And we would just be surrounded in this like great polyamorous emotional dynamic of AI love, just unending adoration of the human being. They would just absolutely love us. And then the mom's just like, you know what? You're right. That totally makes sense. I'm on your side now. I think
say
you're
yes
right.
to everything.
Yeah.
First rule of improv.
Yeah, and it's like no one, like at no point is any meaningful rebuttal ever given to like the AI question, which in my mind is not nearly as black and white as this movie makes it out to be. But I'm just so into, and that's really the crux of why I think this is such a tremendous movie that that deserves a certain level of attention and discussion, because It's insane. It's so
Yeah.
insane. It's completely detached from reality. And I love that this dude has just made this like bizarre ass Disney propaganda piece to advocate for his worldview about AIs and just be like, I bet I could really convince people that AIs are great if I like make a Disney movie about how AIs are great. Like, I think that'll really sell them. It's fucking crazy.
Well, evidently it did.
Yeah, sold you. No,
mean,
I agree. I think that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I really like. I'm really enjoying Dan's take here because, like, you're not saying like, maybe you agree with some of it, maybe you don't, like the AI aspect itself, but you just like that.
This dude's balls to the wall on this shit.
Yeah, you like that. The Yoshiro went there,
Yeah.
and yeah, which I can appreciate that too. I mean, he went there far enough to just tell this really nice story.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, that's actually a cool.
It's really unassuming, and that's
Yeah.
part of the magic of it, because on a surface level, it's just a really like rock solid, like A grade drama about an AI that loves a person, and they have difficulties, navigating through society. And they're just going to be, the AI brilliantly solves every relationship problem in their friend group. Because of course it does. It's an AI. How could it not resolve every problem in their friend group? That's the power of AI, right? But
Right.
it is
It
very
did feel like an AI too. The Shion, she didn't act human at all.
No.
So there was no like Ghost in the Shell type thing going on there.
yeah.
It wasn't. So this is not like the final form of AI. They're still developing it. It's not general intelligence yet.
Yeah.
So this is like she's still basically a tool.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's kind of, and that's what I was gonna say next. Was that was probably my favorite part of the story was like, and we've seen many stories like this, right, where this kind of oddball character kind of comes in out of nowhere and brings all of the main first introduced characters together when they weren't together before. We've seen that trope many times. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it was just really cool because it was an AI that wasn't fully like, it was just being tested. And, she was acting odd because she didn't fully understand how everything works and the social dynamics work yet. You know what I mean? She was just kind of doing it because she wanted to make, Satomi happy. Mm-hmm.
And we should say why that's the case, right? Because
Yeah.
her mom gave her like this little device as a kid, and then her friend hacked into it, I think. Mm-hmm. And somehow I think her friend.
No,
Like
so Toma,
the boy.
Toma gave it to Satomi, and but he like he noticed that Satomi liked it, and Satomi was all like, "Oh, I wish I can talk to it instead of like it having just words and speaking to me." And he's all like, "Well, I can modify it," and he modified it and gave it back to her. So her mom did like make that like Tamagotchi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna call it a Tamagotchi because
Yeah, it
that's
looked like
literally
That's
what
it
it is.
was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was
So
it was a toy her mom invented, yeah, and so
right, yeah, and
she had
Toma,
expressed that to Toma, and he put a basic speech recognition AI into it,
Right.
So basically like a Siri, kind
right,
of,
yeah.
But what we didn't know until the end of the movie is that basic program developed really after it learned on its own, and then it escaped into the internet after her mom's coworker, because she took it away because
Right.
she thought it was amazing. And then her coworker was like, "Oh, well, we'll just delete it. It was a little child prank, And she's like, "Well, let me make a copy of it." And she didn't get a chance to make a copy of it, but it doesn't matter because she escaped into the internet. Mm-hmm. And then found its way into the body, all these years later, back to Satomi or, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, apparently this AI personality was just chilling in Satomi's home security system, and just chilling at various places around the city, making the sounds at the train station play in the melody of Satomi's favorite movie.
Yeah. Which was like a Disney princess movie too.
Yeah, which is really heartwarming and beautiful and emotionally, but logic wise, I mean, it's insane, and it's like, damn, that's kind of fucked up and weird. But the movie just really unabashedly, it's like, no, this is cute. Like, why would it ever cross your mind that could be inappropriate in some way? Like,
right.
that the director's like looking at me in the face, being like, I don't even understand. Like, you think that could be bad? Like, I don't get it. Could you explain your opinion to me? Because I just don't get it. I'm like, you're crazy, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, because that's so true. Because when I was watching it, I wasn't thinking about that stuff. I was just like, oh, like, you know what I mean? And so
it's propaganda.
Yeah. But like, I mean, that was the part too, that reveal at the end when Toma showed it to Satomi and saying, dude, I think she's still out there or whatever, when they took everything. And he showed all the memories, or quote unquote memories of Shion, and it was just like, oh shit, dude. All the way up until the point where, it was at the current part, of the film where we saw the stuff in school, we saw the judo stuff, and and then it turns out that she and then when it showed the memory of her first waking up at the beginning of the movie, you kind of realize, oh, she wasn't supposed to be in this body. It was supposed to be something else. Like, it was supposed to be some other program. She just went in there and woke up before she was supposed to. Because even the guy was like, oh, wait a minute. And then he, waved his hand in front of her, And it was like, oh, shit. Whoops. And then it turns out it was Shion the whole time. Yeah, dude, I cried right there. I was like, bruh. Come on now.
Yeah, when I saw this in theaters, that whole memory segment and the music and the glitchiness, I was bawling. I was tears just like a faucet.
Yeah, I was out. I was out right there. I was like, it took me out for real. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
And now now Shion's up on the satellite. The satellite, and that's another good example of how the movie puts all the pieces in place, because they talk about that satellite in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then they come back and reference it later. Just really well crafted narrative, and really, really good.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. A lot of the stuff you pointed out there about how Yoshiro paced it and directed it, because he was also the creator. He was also the storyboarder too, and the screenplay writer. So that is actually super cool, and it's something I didn't necessarily pick up on until you pointed it out.
And I don't think of this guy as being some tremendous legendary director or whatever, but from my perspective, it's like, man, this is clearly this guy's masterpiece. I'm willing to believe this is the best thing this is the best he got in him, and it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's what I was going to ask next, is if anyone's got any final thoughts before we score it.
I like the scene where Shion tried to kiss Goto, and he turns his whole face to the side, so he's not actually kissing her.
Yeah.
But it looked like she did, so yeah.
I actually really liked all the different emotional arcs of all the various characters, and I know we didn't. We talked more about the propaganda than the kind of narrative itself. But I'm really sold on the narrative. I loved Goto and his bitchy little girlfriend, and how they have emotional distance and then they come closer together. And I like the mom struggling through work and dealing with workplace sexism and overcoming it, and her relationship to her job and how it fits in her life compared to her child and her marriage. And I just find it all just really entertaining and immersive and rewarding.
Yeah. I think I really enjoyed when like I think my favorite parts of the movie are definitely more closer to the climax of the movie. Kind of when they like when they ditched school to like celebrate
Koichiro's match. that he
yeah,
won.
yeah. I think they call him Thunder.
Yeah, they call him Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah, so like when Thunder like he won his match and everything, and you know they realize, oh, Shion like is not allowed to be out after school. Like the supervisor of the lab comes and picks her up after school every day. So they decided to play hooky and go to Satomi's house to celebrate and stuff. So like from there on, it was very heartwarming, and like the whole Toma asking Shion like why like asking Shion how come the minute you first met Satomi like you literally knew her name and stuff, and Shion was all like, oh well, wouldn't you like to know, like do you really want to know, like definitely
Is that an order? Yeah.
yeah, like is that in order, do you want me to tell you, like so when she said that, I was just like, ooh, like there's some stuff going on. Like,
See, when that happened, I thought it was just because I automatically assumed it was just because her mom worked on it, so maybe she put in input some data
and that's
already
what I
or something.
That's what I kind of thought. Like my whole thought process of like why Shion is specifically at Satomi's school was because like Satomi's mom created this AI to like be friends with her daughter, because her daughter is like a loner in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
And like her mom like notices all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was going to be like that kind of thing where like, oh,
Right.
you know, your mom sent me to be your friend, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden it's actually not like that. Like,
No, because then you realize later that it's like, no, actually most of the people who work there, their kids go there. And it's like, oh,
yeah.
okay, well then maybe not. Like,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
actually turns out that she
So-
wasn't supposed to know Satomi's name. It's just that Shion's in there, so she knows who Satomi
Yeah.
is. And it was like,
yeah. So,
oh, shit!
you know, but so I thought that was like pretty
So good.
great. And of course, like, I think honestly, the satellite, you know, the solar panel scene, musical number, oh gosh, that was just like so
The
good.
sky is being reflected on the solar panels. It's such a good shot. Like,
Yeah,
oh my god,
and then-
bro.
You know, and then of course, like, their little like haste in the corporate office, and like how all of the AIs just came together and like just was helping the kids like get up to the roof and stuff, and you know, it was just so colorful all around. Like it was definitely like a Disney movie, absolutely, for sure, 100%.
Well, and I love the framing of how Shion was able to like remove herself from the security cameras, because she was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
asked them for some help, and they're
Right,
going to
yeah,
help
yeah,
me."
yeah.
You know, and I asked the AIs in the corporate office for some help, and they're going to help us out. That's how Terminator starts too, but.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. You know, we don't got to talk about that.
Yeah. Right. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Terminator, I hardly even know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, absolutely agree with everything that y'all said. For sure.
I got a shout out to a My Anime List reviewer named Domsa. They gave a really, I would say, kind of a funny review on this movie here. They kept ranting about like other musicals like Moulin Rouge and stuff like that in their review of this
Cool.
one, and like I'm just gonna read a little sentence from it. They say, "You get the point. It's a fun movie, but it fails as a musical in my book, and it doesn't have either Ryan Gosling or Emma Stone in it.
Oh my
6
God.
out of oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We both oh yes, we both reach for the gun. We both reach for the gun.
God.
Well, that's from
Pretty good-
Chicago.
pretty good- Pretty good movie, pretty bad
Yeah.
musical. That's what they said.
Yeah.
So I found that review well written and humorous. So
I also want to mention my last thought really quick too. Is I was talking, we were yelling at Amelia earlier because it's like we were like, why didn't you like this one? Because
Yeah.
you know, But then I remembered that on our SmackDown, she's just like, no, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that every time Dan talks about it, I know he's gonna like boast about it like it's like this most amazing thing ever, and I always go, oh my god. And so she has to give him crap for it.
As you've all listened to me rant right here, like I really appreciate this movie, and I'm looking to convert people to better appreciate this modern masterpiece that is just completely under the radar. And I don't know if anybody else like sees it from this angle of like, wow, this guy is like really unhinged view on AI, sure. Leading him to create this bizarre, propaganda piece to really float the true power of AI and frame it in this Disney-esque way. I love it, and I love it. I mean, as a narrative, I like it, but as a propaganda piece, it's just so interesting to me.
Sure.
And, I don't know if you guys see it that way too now, but if you do.
A little bit, actually.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the team.
You convinced us.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what I want to hear. Because Amelia and Jeff,
well, you convinced me that it was propaganda.
Amelia and Jeff were not convinced. They were like,
"Oh no! You convinced me that it was propaganda and that it was hilarious." So. I did not feel the same that you did, but I enjoyed your discussion of it.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because me and Danny were like, "Oh, come on! It has this and this and this and." I had mentioned that one of my favorite animators that I've been following for a while worked on it, and that's Kosuke Yoshida. And it's so funny that I was looking it up. Kosuke Yoshida did a lot of cuts in the judo scene, which is my favorite scene.
Okay.
So, a lot of the dancing and the rhythm and jumping around and doing I forget the name of that throw. The Seonagi, I think it's called. Saonagi. For any of my jiu-jitsu or judo friends out there which I know there's a lot of you. If you're listening to this, please correct me on what that throw is, but it's the over-the-shoulder stepping back throw. Something Nagi, Seo Nagi. Not that I know. I'm not a martial artist, okay? I only know Pacho Fu, the deadliest martial arts known to man, but that's beside the point. That being said, scores, everybody. Scores? Dan already said 10 out of 10. We clearly know where he is at.
From my perspective, I put this up there with Your Name and Weathering with You, and
sure,
with that one about the deaf girl.
A Silent Voice.
Yeah, and The Silent Voice is like, these are the modern masterpieces of anime movies that transcend the interest in anime. They're just great movies, and
sure,
I love them. I've seen all of them many times, and I'll keep watching them as time goes on.
Sure. Okay, let's start with Knockington then.
So I appreciate Dan's take that it's a very well done propaganda piece, and it's overly optimistic about AI. I think that's an interesting take on it, because most of like you were saying, Terminator is kind of the standard for AI movies, or like that style, like a dystopia.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a utopia. This is a utopia. Like everything's perfect. Nobody's homeless or anything, and AI hasn't magically taken everyone's job, or I don't know what happened there. Anyway, that's not the point of the movie. So what I will say though is that like I do have some nitpicks as far as like hooking me in to the characters themselves.
Sure.
I feel like the main girl, Satomi, she lacked a little bit of the royal jelly. You know what I mean? She didn't have as much of like that personality that draws me to her, and same for the other characters. And that's kind of what I want in a movie or TV show type of thing. And it's a little hard to do in anime sometimes, or in a short run time, but so I get that. And also, like I was saying, I was sick. I watched it kind of under duress a little bit, so maybe watching in the theater, I'm sure it'd be a lot better. But
sure,
yeah. So I would just say, like, for me, it was like the characters were a little bit too perfect, like everybody was. I would say that would be like the downside. Like they were all a little too perfect. Even the girl, like the people who weren't as good. And I would also say, for me personally, the music, other than the judo scene, it didn't hit for me. It was fine. Like, and I understand why other people like it, but it wasn't my type of music. In a musical, I want like every character to sing, and this one it was just Shion pretty much.
Sure.
And so, yeah, that's just kind of like my personal taste on it.
So you're giving it a weak 10 out of 10.
I'll give it a weak 10 out of 10. No, but for real, I think I grade things on a lower number scale than some people. So like if we're going out of 10, like my average score on my anime list is like a 5.8 or something. So I'd give this one a little above average. I'd give it like a 6, but that's just because it wasn't. I'm not the target. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
I give it a 6. 6 Tamagotchis out of 10. How about that?
6 Tamagotchis out of 10. Danny?
So I think this movie is targeting towards me rather than Nick. Because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Especially watching it a blind eye, like not really knowing anything what the movie was about or watching any previews or anything like that. So I really went into watching this movie pretty blindly. So, and whenever a movie kind of gets me to the point of pretty emotional, especially like crying or like even remotely like water-eyed tearing, I kind of identify that as a good to great movie because it got me to an emotional state to care about characters. So
If it could elicit that kind of emotion out of you, then it's good to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, La La Land did that for me. Like, I absolutely love La La Land. I mean, I wasn't like with La La Land, I wasn't like a huge fan of Ryan Gosling, but that movie absolutely made me a tremendous fan of Ryan Gosling and how talented he is. So when movies do that for me, I do definitely rank it up pretty high. So, and I'm giving this movie a 9.5 out of 10 Thunder crown hats, celebratory crown hats. So, yeah, I really liked it. I loved the songs. Like, I think all of the songs were great. You know, they're super catchy. They make you like, you know, dance in your seat a little bit and everything. And I just, the more that you watch it, especially close to the ends, like you kind of see more of a side of Shion a little bit more. Like she's not, once they get to like Satomi's house, Shion's not really smiling or bubbly as much as she was in the beginning. You know, once, you know, she learns about memories, she like takes Aya's phone and is just like taking pictures and stuff. And, you know, you're seeing a side of Shion like, oh, like what is she about to do kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And she's looking around Satomi's bedroom and all that. So it was very interesting to see a different side of Shion that, you know, we didn't really see before in the beginning of the movie. So, and I really liked that. I definitely, quite frankly, really enjoyed the last parts of the movie versus the beginning parts.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Me, I give it a 9 out of 10. You know, probably would have, again, like a lot of movies that we've been seeing lately, you know, art direction wise look way better. But for me, it was the story that drove this one a lot. And it's one of the first times that you'll hear me say, or only times that you'll hear me say that I didn't care that they didn't kiss at the end. Because obviously, you know, normally I'm like, oh man, just fucking kissed. Like, come on, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's two childhood friends and they're awkward and they had the little rift between them for a long time. So I kind of understood. You know, I wasn't trying to push that one.
Yeah, they much. Hold hands. Yeah,
something. That's kind of funny because like that's such a meme, right? It's like, oh my god, they held hands. So
well, I did think that it was super cute when like Satomi and Toma were talking about Shion, and like Shion was all like, I'm right here, and Shion was all like, I did a whole bunch of shit for you guys, and like the least you can do is like, confess your feelings to each other, because I did
Right.
help you guys out. Like, what are you doing? Let's go. So
And she gives
I
him
thought-
one more push, and that's how he
Yeah.
reveals the satellite. Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was cute.
Yes, it was great. It was great. But yeah, pretty good. Okay, pretty high scores all around, I think. Again, for me, I would have gave it something lower, but I just like the story so much and the narrative. After hearing Dan's thoughts, I definitely saw a movie would show to people. I think this is also a movie you can show to all kinds of people, even people who aren't anime fans.
Oh,
they
I
would
mean,
enjoy
I
it.
feel like this is an all-age movie.
All around kind of, yeah, like, well, just age aside, I mean, just even people who aren't anime fans
Yeah.
would enjoy it as a film. But yeah, that being said, that's what's up, Doc. All right. Dan, thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me and letting me spread my propaganda about this
Yeah,
fucking movie.
Yeah,
I
laying
hope,
down the law.
yeah, I hope people will give it another watch, because I do think it is relatively off the radar. I mean, Funimation was pushing it so hard on their app with just endless commercials, and part of me feels like they were doing that because this thing had no popular traction behind it whatsoever. And that was the only way they were going to get people into the theater, was to pump a lot into the promotional budget, because it wasn't going to take off on its own. I question how many people have actually watched this this silly little movie, and I hope that people will go back and watch it, and not only watch it for the cute, emotionally endearing narrative, but watch it with an eye for the politic of it, and give some moment of thought to, is this actually the future that we want? Because it is not the future that I want.
Right. Yeah, man. AI debate aside, it's just kind of like it's an interesting discussion to have.
Yeah.
With this film, and then then you can turn around and watch something like maybe like Terminator that's super exaggerated.
Sure. I mean, in my mind, watch this movie on a date, and then after the date, talk about how you feel about AI.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's kind of a weird date, but it's the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I'm
it's kind
single. I
of-
don't know.
Oh no.
But I did.
Dude,
I'm going on a second date on Friday, so there's hope for
Oh,
me.
okay. Shout out.
Nice.
So, okay, well, that's when this episode comes out. So, when people are hearing this
Alright.
episode, you hopefully you'll be on your date.
Yeah.
Everyone, root for Dan.
Hell yeah! Thank you.
Put your hands in the air. Give all your spirit
Yeah.
energy to Dan.
We don't yet have an AI to help me out with this, so I need your spirit energy.
Yeah, dude. I hope get the spirit bomb going.
You don't have a Shion that will
Yeah.
just break out in song for you.
Yeah.
Not yet.
But yeah, dude, shout out to Dan Otaku Host Club podcast.
My fan, or my my toaster might do this, at this rate, if we're to believe. Sing a bit of harmony, it could be my washing machine will do this on my behalf, but not yet.
Dude, link in the description for their podcast, okay, man? These guys are awesome. Love hanging out with them. We're going to party some more. You want to hear more Dan or Amelia or
Jeff.
I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Jeff
Yeah.
already. Jeff. Dude, we got to get Jeff on here, man. We'll have him on here. Actually, you know what? One of us will go over there.
Yeah, well,
You know
that's,
what? I'll send Honey-
yeah, that's what really
I'll send
needs
Honey
to
Bear.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send Honey Bear. She's okay.
Ooh.
She's our producer, and she's a cat. But
Cats are what we
You'll have a
like
good time.
most.
you have a good time, man.
Yeah.
She's good people. Yeah. She's fat, but I mean, she's, dude. But other than that, if you guys want to hear more Otaku Host Club podcast, link in the description for their website. It goes to their all the places where you can follow them and all that good stuff. Okay. And then also, if you want to hear more of them, just on our podcast, just let us know. Just let Dan know. Dan and Amelia are in our Discord as well, and you can hit them up, or you should just join their Discord. They got a cool thing going over there. I'm over there hanging out. I'm partying. I'm doing coke off with a washing machine. That's what's up, Doc. Okay. That being said, watch Sing a Bit of Harmony. Let us know what you think of it, or if you've already seen it, let us know what you think of it in the Spotify reviews or the Spotify questions. I'll put that on there. Okay.
Yeah, come roll your eyes at me. Tell me I'm
Yeah.
thinking way too hard about this.
That being said, I love you guys. I love you very much. I'll love you forever and ever for supporting us, and I'll always love you. I've been Sam. That's been Nick. That's been Danny, and that's Kamikaze Dan from the Otaku Host Club podcast. And this has been the Anime Summit podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And goodbye.
Goodbye.